What if the face of divinity was never meant to be captured in marble or paint, but revealed through a cloth scorched not by hand, but by light? The Shroud of Turin has lingered like a sacred whisper across centuries, drawing pilgrims, skeptics, scientists, and spiritual seekers into its silent mystery. Some claim it is the burial cloth of Jesus Christ, imbued with the divine signature of resurrection. Others dismiss it as an elaborate medieval hoax. Yet beyond the debates and carbon dating, one question refuses to fade. How did this image, delicate, haunting, and anatomically precise, come to exist on a simple piece of linen? This relic bears more than a figure. It carries a story encrypted in silence. No paint, no brush strokes, no known technique. Just a faint image etched into the threads as if burned by energy or intention. But who or what left it behind, and why? In this video, we won't just rehash what you've already heard. We'll journey through time and mystery, exploring hidden manuscripts, ancient spiritual teachings, and the baffling science that still cannot fully explain the Shroud's existence. We'll uncover why some believe it's not just proof of a crucified man, but a divine mirror, a revelation of the light buried within all of us. So stay with me, because this isn't just about an artifact. It's about a forgotten technology of the soul. And once you see what has been concealed for centuries, the question won't be whether it's real, but whether you're ready to remember. The Shroud of Turin did not simply appear in history. It emerged like a ghost from the shadows of forgotten epochs. While its first public unveiling was in 14th century France, older whispers speak of a mysterious cloth known as the Mandelion, revered in the ancient city of Edessa centuries before. This earlier relic was said to hold the divine image of Christ, not created by human hands, but miraculously imprinted during a sacred encounter. Byzantine chronicles mention its journey through war-torn lands, hidden behind walls, guarded by secretive orders, and passed down through veiled custodians. Some even claim it vanished from Jerusalem just before the Roman siege, spirited away by those who knew its true power. But the deeper mystery lies not in its geography, but in its symbolism. In the esoteric traditions of Egypt, Greece, and early Christianity, cloth often represented the veil between the seen and the unseen, the material and the divine. To imprint an image without paint, without tools, is to suggest a transfer of essence, of soul. The shroud then becomes more than a relic. It becomes a portal, a symbol of transfiguration. It is the physical echo of an event that transcended death itself. Philosophers like Plotinus spoke of the soul's journey through matter as a descent into forgetting, and of the sacred task of remembrance. What if the shroud exists not to prove anything to the mind, but to awaken something in the heart? Its presence is subtle, quiet, yet profoundly unnerving, like a mirror that doesn't reflect your face, but your potential. Perhaps that's why its truth has been so fiercely guarded, or so fiercely denied. Because if it's real, then much of what we believe about life, death, and the divine would have to be rewritten. To truly grasp the enigma of the Shroud of Turin, we must step beyond the veil of conventional history and peer into a realm where science and spirituality collide, where relic becomes revelation. Modern analysis has only deepened the mystery. Radiocarbon tests once dated the cloth to the 13th century, prompting swift skepticism. But later findings challenged this timeline, pointing to contamination from centuries of handling, exposure to fire, and medieval repairs that distorted the results. Bloodstains, type AB, remarkably well preserved, correspond exactly with the wounds described in biblical crucifixion narratives. Punctures on the wrists and feet, scourge marks across the back, and a wound near the heart. Yet the image itself defies all logic. It's not painted. Under ultraviolet and infrared light, no pigment is found. There's no brushstroke, no layering, just a subtle discoloration of the very outermost fibers of the linen. It's as if the image was seared into the cloth by a flash of radiant energy, brief and beyond explanation, what some physicists describe as akin to a controlled burst of ultraviolet laser radiation, though no medieval technology could come close. But this is where things turn even more surreal. The image is not merely two-dimensional. When scanned with digital imaging tools, it reveals three-dimensional information embedded in its surface, a depth map of a human body, impossible for any artistic method of the era. Think about that. A relic that behaves like a holographic blueprint. Why? For what purpose? Mystics and initiates across time have hinted that the body is not the end of the self, but a vessel, a chrysalis, awaiting activation. Some traditions speak of the light body, or Merkaba, an energetic form that transcends physical death. The shroud, in this view, is not simply a record of death. It's a fingerprint of transformation, a moment frozen not in decay but in ascension. What if the image was left not by a dying body but by a soul erupting into light? What if the shroud captures the very instant the physical dissolves into the eternal? Alternative theories abound. Some posit advanced ancient technologies now lost to time. Others suggest the shroud was a spiritual technology itself, left behind like a breadcrumb for future humanity. And yet, skeptics still ask, if this is real, why isn't it universally accepted? But that's the paradox of sacred knowledge. It hides in plain sight, but only reveals itself to those with the eyes to see. Just as ancient temples aligned with stars or encoded the human body within their geometry, the shroud may be an artifact of spiritual engineering, a relic whose purpose isn't to prove anything, but to awaken the seeker. And maybe that's why its image is faint, barely there, almost invisible, because its truth isn't found through looking harder, but through seeing deeper. So what have we truly uncovered? A piece of cloth? A religious artifact? Or a sacred mirror that reflects the deeper currents of human destiny? The Shroud of Turin, whether viewed through the lens of science or spirit, continues to defy explanation. Not because it is false, but because it belongs to a level of understanding we have only just begun to remember. We have journeyed through history and myth, through hidden manuscripts, and the faint glow of energy left in ancient linen. And what we found is not just the image of a crucified man, but the encoded essence of a resurrection, an awakening that transcends flesh, death, and dogma. Perhaps that is the shroud's real secret. It doesn't exist to prove anything to the world. It exists to stir something dormant within you, a recognition, a remembering, that the same divine light which imprinted this image lives within you, waiting to be ignited. In this age of digital noise and hollow certainty, the shroud stands silently, patiently asking nothing, and yet offering everything to those willing to look with the eyes of the soul. So ask yourself, what if the image is not a remnant of the past, but a message for the future? What if you are not meant to observe it, but to become it? If this journey stirred something within you, share this with others who are seeking. Comment with your thoughts or your questions, and don't forget to subscribe as we continue unearthing the forgotten truths scattered across time. Because this isn't the end, it's the beginning of a far deeper initiation. The veil has been lifted. The question now is, will you walk through?